of Interior just announced a new offshore drilling policy that will boost oil production in the Gulf of America by 100,000 barrels per day. On the deregulation front, President Trump is committed to cutting senseless red tape.
Yeah, so the part she left out was that it could increase oil production in the Gulf by 100,000 barrels a day within 10 years. That's the part she left out. I just. Now let's explain exactly what this order says. Now here you have a platform, drilling into this oil. Currently, offshore, you are allowed to tap into one oil-bearing reservoir and produce from it, okay? And what this order does is it allows companies to commingle. That means in places where there are multiple oil-producing reservoirs, they can produce from them simultaneously. Basically, it allows companies to produce from multiple reservoirs at the same time in the Gulf. Now, here is the difficulty and problems that come with producing from multiple reservoirs. You have a reservoir here, you have a reservoir down here. You could have a map here that has 6 different reservoirs. The issue is that those reservoirs have different reservoir pressures, or RPs. And what does that mean? That means this reservoir, may have 3,000 pounds of pressure. If there was another one right here, it may have 4. If there was one up here, it may have 2. The reservoir with the most pressure is the only one that's going to produce, unless you go in and isolate each reservoir individually. Trying to produce, and this is the concerning part, trying to produce from multiple reservoirs is something companies usually do in the late stage life of a well, right? They have an old well, the old reservoir is tapped out, so they go in and they try to tap into multiple reservoirs and try to restore the well to production. So most of this is going to be happening in very old wells. I'm sure the Trump administration was approached by somebody that works on old wells that needed to be able to do this, and that's why it's a thing now. We were allowed to start doing this on land many, many years ago. It didn't result in any production increases. It's not enough to matter. Even if they were able to gain 100,000 barrels a day of production over a 10-year period, that's more than we've lost in the last 3 months. It's not a huge thing. It's not a big thing. Now, the one regulation that was changed that could lead to a problem is he increased the maximum pressure on an offshore well from 200 psi to 1,500 psi. So he increased the flow pressure on operating wells in the Gulf of Mexico by like over 700%. That means we would be seeing these pressures on older wells, on older pipe, on older equipment that is more likely to fail. Not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying the risk of that happened has been elevated significantly. Even if they are able to increase production at the rate they're saying, it's a drop in the bucket. You're talking about 100,000 barrels a day over the entire Gulf. There's nothing at all impressive about that, especially over a 10-year period. And here's the thing. People think this is going to happen tomorrow. That's not a thing. Regardless, I'm less concerned about the oil production as I am raising the maximum pressure on these old wells. That is somewhat concerning. So, thanks.